Hello again, and welcome back to 10 Paths Tarot. Today's message from Spirit starts out with otter. What do you think of when you think of an otter? Probably the first thing most people think of is a playfulness. They always look like they're having fun. They are always seeing things from new angles and touching things, smelling things, investigating. What I also think is a little strange about this card is there is one otter. You never see otters alone. They live in extended family groups, and those members protect one another and nourish one another. There is also a pumpkin here in the corner, and it represents rapid growth, maturity. This one is splitting and the seeds are beginning to spill out. And so there we want to mature and we want to allow that maturity to spill out. And I'm not talking about becoming older. I'm talking about emotional and spiritual maturity that we want to spread to others. We start out the reading with the Death card, but this Death card represents new beginnings. And in this particular case, Ariadne, she helped explorers who came to kill the ferocious Minotaur, who was half bull, half man, and they would go into a labyrinth and get lost in the labyrinth, and eventually they would die from the Minotaur or from getting lost and never escaping. And so Ariadne gave the explorers, her chosen explorer, yarn to go in and go into this labyrinth and be able to find their way back. And so this Death card is not about one ta-da, we accomplished it. No, it's about being able to come back from that cycle and start afresh. And then we go from there into this bear image. And those of you who have been with me for a while have seen this card before. For some reason, Spirit keeps putting it in our path, and it is often combined with the Five of Scrolls. And we see this happening again. So this must be a very important key to this message that Spirit wants to reiterate. Now here I see someone who has gone into a period of hibernation. It may not be that they were blocking out the world. Maybe they had to grow. This could signify a mental or spiritual or physical retreat where they had to recover their strength so that they could move ahead. But there comes a time where we have to come out of that retreat state and rejoin the world. The thing stopping this bear is he looks out at this Five of Scrolls. And the 5 is a number of tumult and instability. And the scrolls are thoughts. And so these tumultuous thoughts that are going through our brain are keeping us from moving forward. Until we can put those in the rock and move ahead, we cannot go after this gazelle or goat, the thing we need in order to survive, because we are locking ourselves in. So it is that trying to cling onto these thoughts that may not apply outside of that state of retreat or hibernation. And for some of us, that will be an actual spiritual retreat. We know how refreshed we feel when we come out of those and we think, this is it. I've got it now. Smooth sailing. But as soon as we're hit with that real world and those thoughts, things go back again and we have to repeat that cycle, which is what this Death card was saying, is that we'll have to follow the trail back to our old ways, back to our old life, back to those old ways of thinking that were keeping us confined. And it's inevitable. All of Our progress forward is moving forward and then coming back, moving forward and then coming back. Next, we have the Ace of Scrolls, and this indicates clarity of thought and the ability now to move forward. We think we know where we're going. Again, this is what happens after that period of retreat. We think we know where we're going. And with the Crow, there is a desire and an ability to teach others what we have learned through this cycle, and the ability to take what others have learned and incorporate that into our knowledge base. Now we move from there to the Star card. What I think is interesting here in Spirit's message is that the initial 4 cards all dealt with life on Earth, how we must handle this back and forth of energy. But the upper 4 cards, which represents our energy at this moment, right now, are all major arcana. This shows great forward movement, forward spiritual and emotional growth. Let's see what happens. We start out with the Star. And the Star is interesting because maybe it should be the stars. One star, no matter how bright, is not that bedazzling. It doesn't overwhelm us with light or beauty. It's when all of those stars are put together. And this is what I'm thinking here with this Otter card. You can't have one otter and be amazed. They must play with other otters. They must interact in order for us to see how truly flexible and wonderful they are. And so here we have the Star, and she is also keeping things balanced. She is letting that emotion out a little at a time. It may swirl around her as the water. She is one with emotion. She is a mermaid, but she releases that emotion in a balanced way, a little at a time. She keeps that middle ground. Next we go to Temperance, a similar energy, measuring out that emotion. She is now on top of a mountain. She can see things from different perspectives. She can fly, or she can be tied to life here on Earth. And so there is a balance, a harmony that has developed. Will this harmony remain in place? No. It is part of a repeating cycle. Next we have the Moon. And here we have a lot of emotion, a lot of that water energy, and we have tried to become one with it. The horse also represents emotion. It's an emotional animal, and it reacts emotionally. And it is looking out with the light of the moon in its eyes. It remembers the guidance that it got during that period of retreat. That period of retreat could be as simple as a daily meditation period, but that energy, a part of it can follow you, but you're going to be confronted again with being the emotional creature that you are, the emotional creature that's tied to Earth. And there will be steps forward and then again steps back. The last card is again the Death card. Different deck, same card. So the Death card is one where we're looking at things from a new perspective. And so with 2 Death cards here, we see that this happens over and over again. We often are thinking that if we can keep that balance, that we will never have to readjust our thoughts. But the world around us changes, and as we learn and grow, we change inside, and then adjustments must be made. We are never in a state of completion. Our only state of completion is when we are released from this earth. And I can say released from it. While we are here, we are helping the collective to grow. The collective of the people here on earth, but also spirit at large, is learning from our experiences. And so being released isn't necessarily should be our main goal. Our main goal is to learn and experience and expand the views of spirit and the people around us as we go. But in the process, we too are changed. And then we come back to that otter card. And one thing I think about with the otter is flexibility. If you have seen them, you know they can twist and turn in all angles, in all types of ways. They spiral through the water. They are masters of movement. And that is what Spirit's message is today, for us to be masters of movement as we live our lives. We are never going to attain a total state of nirvana here on earth. It is not possible. Spirit knows that. We know that part of us that is spirit, but is now living temporarily in this body. And we know this. We are here to experience and grow and to see what can be done while we are here on earth in the confines of a body. And that is Spirit's message for you today, is to accept your role here on earth. Accept that flexibility. Accept that willingness to try to keep things balanced, knowing that on a regular basis, and that may be a day at times, or it may be years at times, but for those ups and downs, to accept them and accept that you will return to old ways and then you move forward again. That is normal, it is natural, and Spirit wants to know that it is serving a purpose for the greater good, for you to grow as an individual, but for us to grow as a whole. And that is Spirit's message for us today. I hope that it resonated with others. I hear Spirit's message, and I hope that you do too. Bye for now.